Morning, everyone. This is Jeff, the business guru, with a croaky voice coming to you from downtown Manila in the Philippines. Had the flu for a month and having trouble shaking it off. But never mind, the show goes on. Got an awesome guest today, a gentleman who knows a lot. So I suggest you reach out, have a virtual cup of coffee. As a coach told me many years ago, you don't know what you don't know. This is what you'll find out. The gentleman's name is Edward Gurowitz, and Edward is an executive coach, organizational consultant, and founder. Company name, Integrated Business Solutions. Industry, executive coaching, organizational development, leadership, and cultural transformation. Years in the industry, 40 plus. What might he know about it, guys? What he doesn't know is probably not worth knowing. But as Ed will tell you, it's changing every day, so you've got to keep up with the times. Brief description. Integrated Business Solutions partners with service leaders, organizations, and professional coaches to design sustainable culture, accountability, and leadership practices. The work focuses on developing professional judgment systems, thinking, and ethical execution, helping practitioners and leaders move beyond tools and service level interventions towards lasting impact. Isn't that what it's all about, guys?
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Fantastic. Don't forget my bottle of scotch. 4 decades of work with C-suite executives and leadership teams across industries and around the world. Author of Transformational from Potential to Practice, creator of The Practitioner's Edge and The Practitioner's Studio, professional transformational programs for coaches and consultants, developer of proprietary frameworks including Culture by Design and the Culture Operating System, advisor to organizations navigating large-scale culture and leadership transformation. His personal motto philosophy, I like this one, I'm not here to help leaders stay comfortable in their current frame. I'm here to break the frame and lead them into the future they can't yet see. And isn't that a fact? And it's a fact about himself. We go over the page here, pick it up. I've spent my career working on the intersection of leadership, culture, and human behaviour. And I'm still most interested in the conversations that don't have easy answers. That's how we learn. My great pleasure to welcome to the stage, Edward. How are you, my friend?
I'm well, Jeff. Thank you very much for having me on.
No, it's my great pleasure. Tell me, tell us about your journey and what inspired you to start your current career path all those years ago. Take us back to the beginning.
Well, it's been a long circuitous, or as the Grateful Dead said, a long, strange trip. I started out, I have a PhD in psychology, and I started out in brain research, moved from there to clinical work, and there to organizational work due to a variety of circumstances. So that's, I've always been fascinated by human behavior, and particularly by the ability we have as humans to defeat our own best intentions. So I didn't set out to work on leadership and culture. I really was forced there by watching smart strategies fail because leaders couldn't or wouldn't deal with themselves. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. Once you see the role that limiting beliefs play, you can't unsee it.
Pretty interesting. Tell me, what's been the biggest challenge aspect of your work and how are you overcoming it?
The hardest part, Jeff, is helping accomplished leaders let go of what already made them successful.
Yes.
So Marshall Goldsmith, wrote a book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And that's the thing that people have to get. The thing that's made them successful is exactly what's limiting them now, and it comes from. It doesn't come from adding tools or adding knowledge. It comes from self-awareness.
I believe it comes from systems. Systems will set you free. I love systems. Right. Tell us about an important moment in your career that that made you pivot and change your direction a little bit? What happened?
Yeah, this is going back about 20, maybe 25 years ago. I was working with a team from a major tech company. You'd know the name. And they were working on a project to set up a new factory in Ireland. And they were behind schedule and over budget, rather, and couldn't figure out why. So we came in, we asked them one question. There was 40 engineers in Silicon Valley. We asked them one question. What percent of what's stopping you is technical, and what percent is social or interpersonal? You want to guess how the percentages came out?
No, you're going to tell me.
79-21.
Wow.
79% interpersonal. We went to work on communication. We went to work on how they work together. We called it taking the waste out of leadership.
Yeah.
And they brought the project in on time, on budget, and with the head of the group said that, we spent years and millions of dollars taking the waste out of our technical processes, and we've never before seen the need to take the waste out of our communication.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Comes back to what you don't know what you don't know. And
Exactly right.
I've got a favorite.
Exactly right.
I've used this all my life, but I learned it early in life. Some of the best ideas come out of the mouths of idiots. So listen to everybody. Learn to be
exactly right. Yeah, always have the book Wisdom of Crowds by Jim Cervicki says that under the right conditions, a team will always come up with better answers than the smartest people on the team would come up with on their own. And part of the right conditions is you've got to have intellectual diversity on the team. You actually have to have people who don't know enough about the subject at hand.
Fresh eyes. Anyway, in your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have contributed to your amazing success over all these years? What do you believe they are?
I had to learn to listen, Jeff, and listen deeply, and listen for patterns in what people were saying. One of my idols is a man, nobody remembers him anymore, I don't think, called I.F. Stone. And he published a newspaper called I.F. Stone Weekly. This is back in the Nixon era. And what he would do is he would spread out a dozen newspapers in the morning, and he'd read the same story in every newspaper and pick up what was missing, what were the patterns in it. And the other thing I would say, Jeff, is, and you alluded to it, it's to be willing to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yes.
If there's one thing, I mean, leaders have to be, that I work with, have to be motivated, they have to be engaged, but they have to be willing to be uncomfortable, because shameless plug, as I say in my book, which probably isn't showing up on the Zoom very well.
Yeah, a little bit.
There, that's how it is.
Right, perfect.
As I say in my book, I lost it.
I get that way all the time. But all I can
totally
say,
lost.
It's a good read. I'm going to put his.
Being comfortable with being uncomfortable. Exactly. Yeah. See, we've worked in. I have a few case studies in my book where I talk about situations where, when it got uncomfortable, people talk, and there's a butterfly on the cover of my book because people talk about transformation as similar to a caterpillar becoming a butterfly. What nobody notices, unless you really study it, caterpillars don't sprout wings. When a caterpillar's in the chrysalis, it dissolves. It becomes this sticky, gooey mess that reforms itself into a butterfly. If you can't get through that messy part, that uncomfortable part, you can't transform anything.
I'd add to that. I'd say to people, guys, I've been there and done it. I've had 5 multi-million-dollar businesses. The first million is the easy.
Exactly.
It's getting to the next stage. It's a tough part. You've got to break through, right? As you said earlier, what got you to the first million won't get you to the next one, right? Tell me tell us about but the other thing about you staying motivated. I'd add that you and what you do, your success. I'd say you've got fantastic integrity and, as you said earlier, great listening skills, empathy. You've got empathy in spades, my friend.
That's something, to tell you the truth, I had to work on.
Yeah,
I went to school on the Dalai Lama and learned compassion from him, not personally, but from his writings.
Yes. Tell me, how do you stay motivated and continue to innovate in your field?
I really like to eat.
Me too.
No, seriously. It's not hard, Jeff, because in the arena of business I'm working in, which is cultural or systemic change, everything is changing so fast. It's such a chaotic environment that I can't stop learning. I have to, if I'm not a step ahead, if I don't see at least more or less where things are going and get there in time to do something about it.
Yes.
So it just, it gets me up in the morning. I love going to work.
Hasn't AI changed the game for both of us? It's bloody awesome, right? In fact, ChatGPT's $20. I get clients saying to me, "Oh, do you think I should invest $20?" And I tell them, "Listen, my friend, I wish it was $1,000 so that less people would use it."
There you go.
Yeah, it's a great tool. Tell me, tell us about a recent project, if you can, or an achievement, one of many that you're particularly proud of.
Well, it's under the rubric of helping senior leaders redesign culture by design. So we say that there's a default culture of organization, and culture is the operating system. So if you think of Windows or you think of iOS, that the computer can only do what the operating system allows it to do. Same with an organization, same with an individual. So I've been working, done quite a bit of work in Africa in the last 10 years or so, in Southern Africa and Botswana, and working with a couple of companies there where the CEO and the senior leadership of the organization were smart enough to see that culture change was what was needed and to design a culture of engagement, of high performance, of compassion, of inclusion. And I've been, worked with them, thinking of the one company that I'm still currently working with in my third year. We started by working with the executive team. We then worked with the rollout team for the new culture, and now we're back doing individual intensive coaching work with the executive team to keep it going. One of the things that's really important, and I think this was really the insight that had me write my book, which is called Transformation from Potential to Practice, is the transformation, organizational transfer, call it culture change, call it systems change, is not an event or something that happens and now everything's different. It's a practice. And it has to go on over time until we say practice over time in community, because all three of those are critical. You've got to have practices in place that reflect the new culture. You've got to take time to work on it, and it's got to be the community working together. There's a saying in Africa: if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go with other people. We're on the go with other people part.
And it's so true. It is so true. And I think of corporations quite often. You and I both work with corporations, and many of them, we can see the forest from the trees. Many of them are like the Titanic. They're so bloody slow to move. And I almost feel like they're heading for disaster.
You're right. Exactly.
I love working with. I love personally working with small mum and dad companies. I don't make as much money, but I get some pleasure out of seeing them grow.
I enjoy working with them, but most of my clients are large companies. But I do have one client that's a mom and pop operation. I love working with them.
I told you about my success story earlier. How I took the young boy from under 200,000 to recently 8 million, and that's a pleasure. We're the best of friends. In fact, when he came, I gave him. I just bought it for myself. I gave him my Rolex, right? as a true story, as a memento and celebration of his success, I gave him my watch, went over breakfast with the day he was.
Good on you. That's great. It doesn't happen often, but when you can get to be real friends with a client, it's such a rewarding relationship because it's so rich.
Absolutely. We help each other, we spin off each other. Tell me, a 20-year-old comes to you, your son, niece, nephew, daughter, and says, I've just left university or school, and I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with myself. What advice would you give them?
Listen.
Nice.
First of all, listen to your own heart. You know what lights you up. You know what turns you on. Do that. Don't do the thing where the money's supposed to be or the thing where the current fad is. Like right now, everybody's going into AI. I love AI. I use AI all the time.
Yes.
Would I tell my son to make a career out of it? No, my son did come to me and say, I want to be a consultant. This is after he had had quite a bit of experience in the nonprofit world, and I did everything I could to talk him out of it. I must be doing something wrong because both he and my younger daughter both want to be consultants and coaches. But I would say, if you're going to start in this business, remember this. There's a story about Socrates that says that when people consulted him, they didn't leave thinking how smart Socrates was. They left thinking how smart they were.
Nice.
So, your job is not to be smart. You better be smart, but it's not the job. The job is to have other people, your clients, recognize their own value and their own expertise.
Love it. Great message there. I could talk to you forever. You've got so much wisdom. I've got a quick question for you. It's not on this sheet. Do you ever find yourself later? This is what's happening to me personally in the last 5 or 6 years. I hear this voice all the time. I'm talking to myself more and more. It's like wisdom. Something comes out of the blue. I start to question myself.
I have been known to get out of bed at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
To write enough of something down that I can work on it the next day. I have a lot of I have a lot of respect for my own intelligence and my own experience, but my best ideas usually are triggered by other people that I work with. It's that community aspect of it. But yeah, I've talked to myself all my life. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah, me either. The older I get, the more I do it. And the other one I didn't learn this till my 60s, Edward. I learned very much so. It's been a big help. I learned to trust my gut. Before, I used to ignore it. It's your second brain.
Oh, absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You won't be right every time, but you'll be right a lot more of the time than you'll be wrong.
By the way, when few people have asked me the secret of my success, it's been pretty simple. I'm a simple guy. I say, do lots of stuff and be right more than you're wrong, and you'll be successful. Right? Pretty simple.
Yeah, that'll work.
Take action. Action gets traction. And guys, I can tell you, if you read the book Think and Grow Rich, read my new book coming out later this year, Act and Grow Rich. It's not Think and Grow
Better
Rich.
yet.
It's
Better yet.
Act and Grow Rich. What's the best way for our listeners and people watching this wonderful journey? What's the best way to reach out and find out more about you and your amazing services, Ed?
Well, I'm easy to find, Jeff. First of all, my website is there and my name on the Zoom, but also I'm on LinkedIn. Ed Gurowitz. Jeff's been very kind and called me Edward. The last person that did that was my mother. It's Ed Gurowitz on LinkedIn, on Facebook. I write a great deal on Substack, and I have a YouTube channel with videos like this one. So I'm not hard to find. There are. It's not, I'm not Joe Smith. There are Gorowitzes on there, but there's not a huge number of them, probably a dozen or less.
And guys, we'd like you to come on 15 Minutes of Fame, just like Ed has here. It's like talking to a friend. Come and tell your story. Every man and woman out there has got a story. So come and share your story. And I want you to think of this. If you go and do a TV commercial, it's going to set you back at least $20,000. And what's going to happen the moment the commercial comes on, people are going to jump up and go and grab a beer, a hot dog, or go to the toilet. And miss the whole
If they haven't already done.
Yeah. And then, I've done all this, guys. If you get 10 radio spots, they'll promise you the world, and they'll play them as they promised you, but they'll play them at 1 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the morning when people are asleep, right? Come on, 15 minutes of fame, and we'll make you famous, because what we'll do, we'll turn the whole thing, remember these words, an evergreen, it means forever, evergreen movie, it's all about you. And what will happen, we'll put it on Reddit, Quora, LinkedIn, Facebook, our Facebook group of 6,500 people, YouTube, and our new channel, School, which we're loving very much. So guys, there's your invitation. Come on, 15 minutes of fame, and let us make you famous. Now, before we leave, we can't let Ed go without finding out. Tell us a fun fact about yourself, Edward, or Ed, sorry, that most people do not know.
Well, I mentioned that I started out in brain research.
Yes.
And if you're familiar with neuroscience today, a lot of it revolves around a structure in the brain called the amygdala. I was on the research team that first discovered the function of the amygdala and made all the stuff that came after it possible.
Pretty cool. I got to tell you a fun fact about myself. I've never told anyone, but I'm going to share it with you. I was the engineer for the bidding to build Petronas Tower in Malaysia. My brother-in-law was a contractor. I went in with him as the only white guy in the room when white guys were really respected in Asia. And he got the contract to build Petronas Towers, right? And I was the bullshit engineer with a nice shirt and a tie and a whole pile of paperwork. And we believe he got it because he had a white man engineer. So
good on you. Hey, you got to use what you got.
So he did use it. That's a fun fact for you, right? So anyway.
Jeff, let me say thank you so much for having me on. It's really been a pleasure. And I'll second what Jeff said. If you want to have a really good interview and a good evergreen piece of video for yourself, talk to this man because he knows how to interview. He knows what he's doing.
I've done it for a while, 500 episodes now. Evan, you've been a pleasure, Evan. Thank you for being on the show today, my friend.
My pleasure.
Thank you.